And now we're live.
All right, here we are.
That's right. Good morning, Brian. I guess it's not morning, is it? You got up late today. It's afternoon.
That's right.
What's going on?
Oh, just studying for finals. Thought I'd take a break and go live with Tellman.
That's right. How's studying for finals going?
It could be worse, but I think we're making progress.
That's Brian's in law school, everybody. He's finishing up his second to last semester in law school. So he's like putting his brain to the grindstone, sharpen that prefrontal cortex right up.
That's right.
Cool, man. So I need to actually have this video be fairly short today because we're going to be talking about how I made my first $1 million with email marketing. And I have something to do after that. Can you guess what it is? Right.
Do I want to guess what it is?
Can you? Can you try?
You're going Christmas shopping.
Well, I am going Christmas shopping, as a matter of fact, Brian T. Edmondson. That's true. But is that all I'm doing?
You're spending time with your children.
I am going to spend time with one of my children. That is also true. Also true. Carl's back with us. What's up, Carl? Good to see you again, my friend. Carl's guessing I'm going to spend some money. I am, in fact, I expect, and maybe not, but I will probably spend some money.
I have a question. Is what you're going to do related to the mask that you're wearing?
It is, in fact, related to this mask that I'm wearing, Brian. You're a super sleuth.
I am.
Yeah.
I can be a detective if the whole, online marketing and law thing doesn't work out.
Yeah, you could be like Batman. I got this mask in New Orleans several years ago. Yannick Silver, I believe, had one of his underground marketing seminars there, I think. And there was a masquerade ball, and it was like right on the edge of Mardi Gras, and I had to book it like in my shoes and my dress pants and my suit coat, like 2.5 miles across town, running full tilt to get this mask from the mask store, and then run back. Like I was covered in sweat. It was crazy, but the mask, still have it. So I'm actually going to a very cool event this afternoon with my daughter, Lightning. The event is it's a magical experience, and I believe kind of like a magical style arts and crafts kind of show where I'm sure there'll be crystals and magic wands and all sorts of magic-y, kind of Christmas gifts. And then afterward, there's a masquerade ball. And so I'm taking my daughter to the masquerade ball, and we're both getting all dressed up for it. So that's why I have the mask. I got this new shirt with these psychedelic skulls on it. When I was out Christmas shopping, I bought myself a gift, and we decided we're going to go to the masquerade ball. So where's your masquerade outfit, Brian?
I didn't know we were doing that today.
Got to pay attention, dude. Got to pay attention. Can't you read my mind? So Brian, do you want to ask me any questions about the secret story about how I made my first $1 million with email marketing?
I do. I would actually be very interested in hearing how you made your first $1 million with email marketing.
You would like to hear my story about how I made my first $1 million with email marketing?
I would.
Oh, I'd love to tell you. So here's the deal. Guys, back in the day, I was a hypnotherapist locally in Brattleboro, Vermont. And I had 6 different offices and they were all 1 day a week offices. And one of them was close by, but most of them were about a 45-minute drive because I live in a small town. Town's small enough that there's no Starbucks, just to give you a comparison. And I was working my tail off as a hypnotist, working with clients one-on-one, doing a lot of free sessions, also doing a lot of sessions for $75 an hour from 2000 to like 2003 era. And I was reading about marketing and reading about internet marketing and trying to figure out how to make more money and all these different things. And I finally figured out how to like really build out my hypnosis practice because I was learning about internet marketing, but I figured out how to apply direct response marketing principles to my local hypnotherapy practice that was mostly based on weight loss, smoking cessation, stress, and insomnia. At the end of the day, those were the things at that time that people were willing to pay me for hypnosis that also I could successfully market for, right? And but I was working my butt off. I really was. And I realized I was going to be like 50 before I paid off my college loans. Even if I was going full tilt, 10 clients a day, 6 days a week, it was still going to take me forever to pay off my student loans. And so as I was learning more about marketing, one of the things that I did read in the early days was Mark Joyner's Confidential Internet Intelligence Manuscript. And it opened my eyes. And what happened was I am going to take off this mask because it's actually a little uncomfortable. It has these metal things in it that give you a wicked bad headache if you leave it on too long. So what happened was I was like, okay, I need some leverage here. I need to stop just selling my time for money. I need to figure out how to sell something that doesn't require my time. And the best shot that I had was to sell hypnosis CDs on the internet. And so I teamed up with my buddy, high school friend, Kyle Battis, and we put together a 2 CD set that we recorded in my dad's spare bedroom on a portable Sony mini disc recorder. And the first CD was, I believe the first CD was Kyle. Kyle and I spoke. He was a personal trainer, fitness expert. It was called the 5 Keys to Permanent Weight Loss. And we taught the 5 keys. And most of them were knowledge-based keys, but one of them was mindset, right? And so what we did is Kyle taught about exercise. He taught about water. He taught about, he taught all the key elements to fat loss. And then you also have to have the right habits. And so the second CD was a hypnosis session to help activate all of those habits in people's minds. So you have a double whammy CD set. And I wrote a sales letter, and I bought a website to put the sales letter up on. And it was like one of the earliest precursors to ClickFunnels. Now, it wasn't Russell Brunson's. It was actually owned by Sean Casey. It was called like, or maybe it was Mark Goldman. It was called, maybe it was a team up between them. It was called Gold Bar, I think. And I had a sales letter up on that thing. And I tried buying ads and driving traffic and all the stuff. And for the love of God, there was nobody buying those CDs, dude. Nobody was buying my weight loss CD set. It was very discouraging. And Kyle and I were just like, yeah, bummer. Thought that would work, but no. And so I really got to thinking about what it was that made the difference between people that were successful online and all the people who are unsuccessful or less successful online. And at the time, I noticed a pattern, and I got lucky. I was right. We all see things. We all think we know what's going on. And most of the time we're all wrong, right? About most things. And so I thought I saw a pattern. I was like, it looks to me like everybody that I can see that's making money online right now in the internet marketing, training, guru space, and in the personal development, self-help, spirituality spaces as a hypnotherapist. That's kind of what I felt that I fell into, is the personal development space. everybody that seemed to be making any significant amount of money, like over $1 million a year, seemed to be, it seemed that they all built a large email list. And I was like, email seems to be the least common denominator to me. And this is in 2003, guys. So like, and I was in my 20s. I didn't know what I was talking about, right? And so what ended up happening is I'm like, how do I build an email list? I'm making some money with my hypnosis business, but I'm still just barely paying the bills at the end of the day. And I didn't have the right mindset yet to hire a multi-$1,000 coach. And there weren't many, if any, serious email marketing coaching programs available to even go through at that time. You could buy a bunch of ebooks that were hard to decipher and make sense of. But there were only a couple internet marketing coaching programs. They weren't really teaching the stuff that I was looking for. And I wasn't ready to invest, $10,000 in my own education. I didn't have the right mindset, and I didn't have the savings for it. I definitely didn't have the credit. And so I decided that I tried a bunch of things that failed. And then finally I decided that I was going to do an interview series. And I'd interview all the people that would talk to me about email marketing and list building and mindset in the direct response marketing world, and hopefully learn a thing or two about how these people did this successfully. And then I would turn around and sell their product or service at the end of the interview and promote it. And so this became something called List Crusade. And I got 63 people turn me down in a row when I was looking for interviews for List Crusade. I didn't have my pitch clear. I didn't have my promise clear. I didn't have the project clear. It wasn't a compelling offer for the speakers. Like, I went out and talked to all sorts of people that just said, you sound like an idiot. I'm not going to get involved with their thing. Sorry, bro. No one said bro back then, but still, they would have said bro if they said bro back then. And so what happened was, or brah, I guess I should say. And so what happened was I was resilient, fortunately. And after getting 40 no's, I was like, this sucks. Rejection sucks. What can I do? And what happened was I started asking the people that said no if they could give me their best advice on how I could improve my pitch for the future. And they did. And I started trying it. And over time, it worked. At no number 63, I got my first yes. And then I got my next yes. And then I got my next yes. And pretty soon, Jay Abraham said yes. And his signature was below the headline on my squeeze page. And when Jay Abraham said yes, everybody else said yes, including a bunch of the people that had previously said no. And so I did this interview series with over 80 interviews, and people would opt into it. And then the emails would go out and it would give you a link to where you could listen to a streaming audio button of this interview series. Okay. So cool. And at the end of the interview, it was like a podcast, except before anybody knew about podcasting. And at the end of the like 30 to 45-minute interview, we'd pitch their product and link it up through their affiliate program. So I ended up earning a commission, right? And I got my list up to 10,000 people, right? And then 30,000 people. I was at about 30,000 people, but I was still only at about 10 grand a month in affiliate commissions. And I was starting to get frustrated. I was like, I know people say I should be able to make $1 per month per subscriber, but I'm not quite there yet. And what do I need to do? I had 30,000 subscribers. I was just learning the ropes. I was trying to figure this out. I had interviewed all these people. And then what happened was I learned how to do teleseminars from Alex Mandossian. And he created a course called Teleseminar Secrets. And this is before the days of webinars. And what ended up happening was I went through it and I executed like nobody's business. And within a couple of months, I was doing a webinar every single week, at least one. And I got practice and skilled at doing webinars and selling high ticket products and services. But at this point, I wasn't selling mine. I was conducting and organizing and interviewing and then pitching, in some cases, high ticket other people's offers at the end of the webinar for a commission, except instead of it being a $49 ebook, it was a $2,000 home study program. Okay. Often. And when I made that shift, basically, by the way, learning how to do teleseminars is a form of public speaking. So I learned how to do public speaking. I learned how to speak from stage, except it was with a phone on my head. And I followed the process. I followed the format. I got good at it. I improved on it, made it my own, and boom, crushed. And that's how I went from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month in sales with the same size list. Kept on ratcheting up and leveling up my direct response marketing skills while I was continuing to grow my email list every single day. And once that took off and we were really starting to make money and really starting to connect with the list, everybody wanted to know when I was going to create a course on list building. I was like, what the heck? That's not my intention. But I decided to do it. And we created my first list and it became a runaway smash hit. We sold thousands, like hundreds of thousands of copies of my first list. Absolutely incredible in different ways, shapes, and forms. And taught a ton of people email marketing and list building back in the early 2000s. But ultimately, that is the strange but true story about how I made my first $1 million. That's the short version. One, I have to go to the bathroom because I drank way too much coffee this morning. And two, I need to run out the door to go to this cool masquerade ball and Renaissance art fair with my daughter here in a minute. But Brian, you've been nodding your head quite.
I have
approvingly.
So
as I was telling the story.
So one of the big takeaways I got from this, and there were many takeaways, and I'd love to hear from other people watching this in the comments below. What was your biggest takeaway from this?
Hey, Brian.
For me.
Hey, yep. Brian.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I really have to go to the bathroom.
You really got to go to the bathroom.
I'm going to spotlight you here.
I will not deny you that.
Wait, no. There you are.
Oh, look at me. I'm on the whole screen now. All right. So, yeah, I'd love to hear from anybody watching this in the comments what your biggest takeaway from that was. And if you had more than one, that's fine. For me, one of the biggest takeaways was, the idea that success breeds success. But before that happened, there was a lot of failure. In this case, there was, I think Tillman said it was over 40. Was it up to 60 something before we got the yes? So a lot of people aren't willing to tolerate repeated failure. They're not willing to push through. And it's so unfortunate. It's almost like the Acres of Diamonds story, right? Because if you can keep pushing through and push through the no's, push through the failed ideas, and just keep pushing, at some point, you will get success. And once you get that success, success breeds success and becomes a lot easier. So we heard about how, Tillman, after you got the yes from Jay Abraham, all of a sudden it became a lot easier. And like you said, all the people who told you no, a lot of those people came back on board. So the idea of like really, persistence and pushing through until you succeed. Don't give up.
Yeah, you got to be enthusiastic about it too. Like you just can't let yourself get into the doldrums, right? You can't let people's rejection of your idea define the way you think about and feel about yourself, right? And what you're working on. That doesn't, and you need to be able to willing to, like, at a certain point, let go of your ego and your own personal vision for what it is you think you're doing. And you need to take feedback from people that don't vibe with what you're doing and hear them out. And over time, you'll learn how to distinguish between people who are idiots and they have no idea what they're talking about, and they shouldn't have an opinion because they haven't actually achieved anything close to what you're trying to achieve or work toward, and how to take the advice from people who are actually qualified to give you good life lessons from their experience. And that will come from you learning how to notice and recognize a hypester from someone who actually has experience. And so in your search, in your marketing search, I really do encourage you to find teachers and mentors that you bond with, that you trust, that you vibe with, that you have a good personality connection with, that seem like they've been down the road that you want to go down, or at least a very similar one, so that you don't have to figure everything out yourself. It's kind of a cliche, but it's a very real cliche for a reason, getting a good mentor and teacher. I've had so many amazing mentors and teachers. Started with Kevin Wilkie and Matt Gill from Nitro Marketing, went on to Sean Casey and Mark Joyner and Alex Mandozian, had huge positive impacts on me. Joe Polish, Dan Kushel, Dan Sullivan, of course, Frank Kern. I've bought everything that he's ever released. Many other people have taught me things. I've learned things. I've gone to seminars. I've joined mastermind groups. I've bought ebooks. I bought something today. I was spending, I think $7 on something, but the time I was done, I spent $250. But it was good. It was a really good thing, and because I'm always sharpening my marketing sword, right? So, really encourage you guys to focus on skill development and long-term getting really good at this stuff. And we're going to be doing a lot of videos in the upcoming days, weeks, and months, both on our personal pages, on our business pages, and in our Facebook groups, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, lots of different places. And so if wherever you are watching this video, if you have any questions about list building, about email marketing, about how it all works, whether it's a higher level conceptual thing or I'm just getting started and I have this simple question that I'm looking for an answer to from somebody I can trust, please ask those questions in the comments, and we will do our level best to dedicate an entire video to your question and answer it thoroughly and completely in a way that's super actionable and helpful for you and the thousands and thousands of other people out there that probably have exactly the same question. What do you have to say about that, Brian?
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yes. All right, guys, rock and roll. Two things. One, we've got an awesome email marketing and list building program that you can learn how you can join, perhaps if you're the right fit for it, and learn how to start building your email list before Christmas. If you want to learn how to start building your email list before Christmas, then type list building into the comments below and shoot me a private message, and I will get back to you. We'll schedule time to talk, and we'll figure out where you're going with your existing or your new business, and if it would be an appropriate time for you to start building your email list or not, to really grow that and give you that extra revenue stream that you're probably looking for. Number two is the secret project, but I'm not going to really talk about the secret project today. We'll talk about the secret project more on another day. All right. It has started snowing, first real snow of the season, and apparently I'm going for a drive. So wish me luck. Merry Christmas. Do you know who this is? Other than Brian, I don't know if you know who this is, but you can't answer the question. Do you guys know who this is? Is there anybody that's watching our videos right now that can tell me who this is? Do we have any guesses in the comments who this is? I'm going to give you a hint.
Oh, gross.
He said, oh, gross. I'm going to give you another hint.
I am the tick.
Oh, that was a pretty good hint. Did you hear what he said,
What did
Brian?
he say?
He said, I am the tick.
Oh.
Do you know the tick?
I don't know if I do.
The tick is a long-lasting C-lister superhero. Very weird superhero. I've had this 12-inch talking tick since I was a kid. I used to have him in my bedroom growing up, like in high school. His slogan is spoon. Doesn't make any sense. He's a wicked goofball. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful Sunday. If you want to learn how to build your list, type list building into the comments and we'll connect up and I'll talk to you soon. Brian, broadcasting tomorrow right around 10:30.
Sounds good.
That's what we're going to do. All right. See you all then. Have a great afternoon. Toodaloon.